Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And that breaking news, dissecting the DMV. What an audit reveals about the source of problems within the state agency.
And we're looking at a new tropical storm that formed just less than 24 hours ago. I'll show you where it is and the other tropical systems that I'm tracking.
And a day on Harris Lake turns deadly. This afternoon, the man charged with inflicting unimaginable pain is expected to face a judge. How viewers can help the victims.
Triple-digit heat is gone for now, but the tropics are firing up instead. Good Monday afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Nate Chu. Thanks for joining us. Tropical storm Dexter formed in the Atlantic, and two other systems are worth watching as well. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is on the WRAL weather patio with a look at an active tropics. Elizabeth.
All of a sudden, you know, we had, after Chantal, we had a bit of a break for about 3 weeks. And yep, we're getting fired up. Nothing too concerning, fortunately. Tropical storm Dexter is 250 miles northwest of Bermuda, but it's headed northeast and away from the United States and away from Bermuda, too. Moving northeast at 14 miles per hour right now and winds at 45 miles per hour. So here's a look at the path. You can see it moving away from the U.S. Now, because it's, you know, a couple hundred miles offshore, there still could be some rip current danger for us the next day or so, as well as some overwash on Highway 12, a little bit of erosion potentially along the Outer Banks. But it moves on out fairly quickly. Once it gets into the weekend, it's up in the northern part of the Atlantic where it'll fall apart. All right, system number 2. This one later in the week, closer to the weekend, the yellow area. 30% chance of developing. Not a huge chance, but even if it doesn't develop tropical characteristics, it is going to help to start pushing more tropical moisture into our area. And then number 3, coming off the coast of Africa, likely to make a northerly turn and not have impact on the United States. So coming up, we're going to talk about system number 2 in particular. That one will have the biggest impact. Again, it may not be tropical impacts, but we're looking at a stormier pattern that starts midweek. I'll show you how much rain we could see coming up.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Following some breaking news, seeking solutions to frustration at the DMV. Just minutes before our newscast, the state shared the findings of the most recent audit. Ken Smith is in the WRAL Live Center. And Ken, we understand one of the suggestions was given to the DMV control over its budget planning and decisions.
Yeah, that was just one of the issues that Dave Bullock brought up. This press conference lasted about an hour. He detailed a more than 300-page audit. He said he came up with this audit after he visited several DMV offices around the state. He talked about talking with employees. He talked with customers. He said the technology is severely outdated. Also, that many of the offices are severely understaffed. This is video that we've been seeing a number of times over the last several months in terms of long lines outside these DMV offices. And his goal is to reduce these long lines and bring the DMV offices into the modern age. Here's what he had to say.
We got to do better. We just have to do better. And I know, look, it takes time to do this and it takes money. All right. But we've shown when we have a need. We saw it this past year in Western North Carolina. When we have a need and we've got something that's emergency. Look, I'll go back to what I saw this morning. I saw people camped out in line in front of the Avent Ferry DMV. That's not acceptable in North Carolina.
And our Laura Levine was out there this morning. She said people started showing up at 2 a.m. Now, he had a couple of suggestions, some pop-up license offices or maybe some fast pass issues that's going on, maybe where people pay to just get in front of the line. A number of issues that he brought up. Heidi Kirk will have a live report coming up in the next half hour. If you want to read more about this audit and what Dave Bullock wants to do with the DMV, you can check out our article on WRAL.com.
A family's trip to Harris Lake turned devastating over the weekend. A 10-year-old girl was killed and a woman has serious injuries after a boat drove over them in the water. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live outside the Chatham County Courthouse. Carly, the man facing charges for this will make a first court appearance in just a few hours.
and we are going to be in that courtroom for this. Now, the main investigating agency, the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission, they spent the morning here working with the district attorney's office to nail down the suspect's charges. I can tell you right now, 40-year-old Quentin Kite is facing charges for operating a boat while under the influence. But there could be more charges coming, and that's what we're expecting for this court case today. The Wildlife Resources Commission says Kite had been pulling a tube when he maneuvered the boat into the group of swimmers. According to arrest warrants, the victim who died on this Chatham County lake was 10-year-old Brooklyn Carroll. She was a fifth grader at Westlake Elementary School. Jennifer Steele had been swimming in the water with her, and investigators tell us Steele lost her left leg.
Operating a boat while under the influence of any impairing substance, whether that's drugs or alcohol, that is extremely dangerous. And every year throughout the summer, we deal with a lot of different boat incidents that are alcohol or drug related. This is obviously a extreme example of that. It's a very tragic accident.
We've also learned that Kite has a pending charge for felony hit and run with injury out of Moore County. Westlake Elementary School sent families a letter over the weekend informing them of this tragedy and also saying that they have grief counselors available for children to process. Harley Haynes, WRAL News, live in Chatham County.
More than 1 million North Carolinians could feel the effect of Medicaid and SNAP cuts at the federal level. That's why Durham County's leadership wanted an update on the scope of the issue at the county level. WRAL's Chris Lovingood listened to a discussion about this today, Chris, and there are some plans in place to address this.
Well, yeah, Michelle, but not without some sacrifices being made. Durham's innovative nutrition education, or DINE, educates the public, including children, about nutrition and provides services. Cuts to SNAP mean eliminating 13 positions, mostly dietitians. And then you have the county DSS that painted, frankly, a bleak picture of more than 17,000 people in Durham alone that would become uninsured. That's because the state's Medicaid expansion law has a provision that activates when there's any reduction in federal funding. The director of Durham DSS also brought up that reducing SNAP benefits means less money for businesses.
About 1.4 million would lose their benefits, and over time it's a 2.8 billion revenue that goes right to our supermarkets. It goes right to the mom and pop grocery stores. So that money goes directly to them. So that is a huge loss for the economy. So again, here we have like 7,000 jobs in North Carolina across grocery, agriculture, manufacturing, and then of course over 500,000 children no longer automatically qualify for school meals because of SNAP.
Republican lawmakers have defended the cuts as means to cut wasteful spending, and they also believe that having work requirements can lead to reserving Medicaid for the people who need it most, Michelle.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, a ceremony just began for a Raleigh police officer killed in the line of duty. A wreath-laying ceremony honors the memory of Officer Denise Holden. Holden died in a crash 10 years ago today. She was responding to an officer's call for help when her cruiser veered off the road and hit a telephone pole.
A fire that left 2 people without a home is back out now after reigniting overnight. First caught fire around 9:30 last night on Linwood Lane, and that is right near North Hills. You see it on this map here. Ali Kadlubar was there in the WRAL breaking news tracker about 2 in the morning when it rekindled, and she called 911.
Yes, we got here around 2 a.m. to check on an update of this fire that started last night. When we got here, we didn't see fire crews. We saw flames coming out of the roof of this house in this garage. This is what we saw. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker around 2 a.m. You can see the flames burning a hole in that roof. We called 911 immediately. Crews got here within less than 10 minutes. The battalion chief on the scene tells me the fire spread to the attic. It also rekindled in the roof's overhang. No one was inside. We know 2 people did escape along with their pets from last night's fire. Unfortunately, one of their dogs did not survive. We're working to find out the cause of that initial fire. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Kadlubar, WRAL News.
A crash involving a tractor trailer shut down traffic on Highway 24 in Cumberland County this morning. Investigators say the driver of the tractor trailer lost control of that rig on I-95 South when a tire blew out and the box truck that was being towed. The rig flipped over on Highway 24 there, debris scattered all over the road. Troopers say the driver was taken to Cape Fear Valley Medical Center for treatment. A passenger was not hurt. No word yet on if charges will be filed.
All right, let's take a look at Wall Street right now. Stocks are bouncing back after Friday's sell-off. That sell-off sparked by concerns over the economy and a new round of tariffs from the Trump administration. Right now, we're up 471 points on the Dow Jones. The S&P 500 is up 80 points this afternoon. And starting September 30th, the government will no longer issue paper Social Security checks. Beneficiaries who receive paper checks must pick one of two options. They can have the payments electronically deposited into their bank account, or they can receive payments on a prepaid debit card known as Direct Express. Issuing paper checks costs about 50 cents each, while sending funds electronically costs less than 15 cents.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center, some big economic sports news for Eastern North Carolina. The executive director of the Greater Raleigh Sports Alliance, Scott Dupree, calling Greenville, North Carolina, the Williamsport of Little League Softball. Elm Street Park in Greenville hosting this year's Little League Softball World Series. I can tell you the opening ceremony kicked off over the weekend. This is video from last year, though. The tournament runs through August 10th when a new champion will be crowned. The tournament is expected to generate around $1.6 million in revenue to the Greenville area over the next week. Of course, the reference to Williamsport. Williamsport hosts the annual Little League Baseball World Series every year.
Ken, thanks for that. Next at noon, mid-air Mayday. Why a United Airlines jet with more than 200 people on board had to return after takeoff.
Also, kangaroo removed. A Texas family ordered to get rid of their pet. What tipped off authorities?
Plus confusion over COVID vaccines as cases ramp up. The recommendations you should know about.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000. Sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, Goldsboro police need your help finding this woman right here. Stop what you're doing and look at your television screen so you can know exactly whom we're talking about. This is 30-year-old Bianca Rochelle Naylor. She's 5'4", weighs about 140 pounds. She was last seen in the 100 block of Byron Place in Goldsboro on July 31st, which is last Thursday. She was driving a silver Dodge Charger with a 60-day temporary tag. Now, if you have any information about Naylor, you're asked to call the Goldsboro Police Department or your local law enforcement agency.
The FAA is investigating an emergency landing last month involving a Boeing 787 bound for Germany. Just minutes into the flight from Washington's Dulles International Airport, the pilot declared a mayday, reporting a malfunction with the left engine. Flight 108 was carrying 219 passengers and 11 crew members. The jet circled back to Dulles and landed safely with no disruption to other flights, and no one was injured. A Florida judge ordered Tesla to pay $329 million for a deadly crash involving its autopilot program. The plaintiffs say Tesla's enhanced autopilot feature failed to stop a Model S sedan in 2019 as it barreled through a red light and hit a parked car, killing a person. Tesla argued the driver's behavior was to blame. Friday's verdict could hinder efforts by Elon Musk to convince investors that Tesla can become a leader in so-called autonomous driving for private vehicles as well as robotaxis.
WNBA players are calling for arena security to be more vigilant. This after two incidents involving sex toys and WNBA games last week. Someone threw an item on the court during Friday's game between the Mercury and the Sky. It is unknown if the person who threw that object during that game has been arrested. However, the person who did the same thing during an Atlanta Dream game last week is now in custody and could be banned from games. Players say it's dangerous, while others call it immature. The league says any fan who throws an object on the court will be ejected and face a minimum 1-year ban. A family in San Antonio faces several citations and fees after the city learned they illegally owned a pet kangaroo. The family was ordered to find their marsupial a new home after it scratched the owner's 11-year-old son during feeding time. The boy's mother took her son to a doctor, and the doctor's office contacted Animal Care Services. The kangaroo went through a 30-day quarantine at the San Antonio Zoo and now lives on a ranch outside Austin, Texas.
The last 3 mornings have started off in the 60s temperature-wise. Might have felt cool to you. Meteorologist Chris Michaels explains how the weather and our minds might be playing tricks on us in today's Ask the Meteorologist.
So it seems to be both the weather and our minds playing games with us. It's been very hot this summer. In fact, July was the second hottest month on record in Raleigh. It was the 7th hottest month on record in Fayetteville. It was also the 2nd wettest month on record in Chapel Hill. So definitely a month of extremes, which is why these mornings in the 60s have felt so good. We've only seen 11 mornings this summer below 70 degrees, whereas on average, you get 41 of those. But that long-term average doesn't necessarily apply to the last 5 to 10 years. You see how much rarer it's becoming for mornings to start out below 70 degrees. But even still, past 5 to 10 years through this point, we usually have 25 to 30 such mornings. So only 11. Yeah, that kind of makes a big deal when you actually get into the 60s. A lot of that has to do with the humidity, and we previously wrote about that in Ask the Meteorologist. The dew point on average has been in the low to mid 70s, and the dew point is your threshold. Your temperatures can't drop any farther than that. So now that we've gotten a little bit of a break from the humidity and the dew point is lower, temperatures have been able to drop more. Those days are numbered, however, more humidity and storm chances in the forecast.
Yeah, it always comes back, right? We'll enjoy the 80s while we can right now.
Fake fall.
Exactly. All right, let's get outside to meteorologist Elizabeth Carter on the WRAL weather patio. We're jealous you're outside right now because it's nice out there.
You should be jealous. We can call it whatever we want, fake fall or wonderful, or how is this possibly the first part of August? So nice. So very comfortable out here right now. Our dew points in some places have actually dropped into the 50s, definitely some low 60s. The lower that number goes, the less moisture there is in the atmosphere. And, you know, this is just a treat for this time of year. This is definitely, for sure, starting to feel more like late September. Tomorrow, maybe even a little bit cooler. We'll likely have a better chance for some cloud cover and maybe a sprinkle or two, but we shouldn't see too much rain. Then the rest of the week, starting Wednesday, we're back into a wetter pattern, and it will be tropical moisture. So we're looking at more humidity and a better chance for rain. Let's talk again about Tropical Storm Dexter in case you missed it. The 11 o'clock advisory is moving northeast at 14 miles per hour, 45 mile per hour winds, and it is headed right on out of here away from us. Possible rip current danger for the next several days, but this thing over the weekend moves into the North Atlantic where it will dissipate. All right, let's talk about the gardens, where it's absolutely stunning. I'm sort of surprised that we don't have a lot of guests out here. You know, everybody comes for the azaleas, but all summer long, there are wonderful things blooming, and it's just a nice escape from the city. So you are always welcome, and what a beautiful day it is in the gardens. It's only 76 degrees right now with a dew point of 59, and truly, it does not feel like early August. I just can't even get over it. Our high temperature likely to be 82 or 83 this afternoon. Right now, it's 78 in Fayetteville, 78 Rocky Mount, and 75 in Roxborough. Current temperatures a little closer to the Triangle. Cary is 79, 78 Holly Springs, 76 Knightdale, 77 in Wake Forest. So it feels great all around. Again, 83 in the Triangle, 85 in Fayetteville this afternoon. Just a good bit of sunshine. Now, the moisture, the tropical moisture, is just to our south. This is not necessarily a representation of rain in the green, but a representation of where the most humid air is. And so we start to see that pushing northward as early as tomorrow, and then it just continues all the way through the end of the week. See that 30% that we threw up there? That is where that potential tropical system could develop. It's a small chance, but it could help to force more tropical moisture into our area. But the low that's likely to settle across the deep south, rotating counterclockwise, also will be something that helps to push that tropical moisture in. You can see what happens on the muggy meter. We get to steamy by Wednesday, and we're going to hold it there Thursday and Friday. It will be fairly cloudy. Now, we're not talking about a big warm-up. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're looking at a 40 to 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. High temperatures are still in the low to mid-80s. We're talking about clouds and showers. How much rain could we see? There may be a few days where we have a small risk for flooding. We'll take a look coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Coming up this evening on WRAL, fighting firefighter cancer. A new study uncovered alarming new data about the link to cancer deaths. A Wake County firefighter battling cancer shares new efforts to keep first responders alive. That's at 5 o'clock.
Plus at 6, the cost of a shooting. Scars from a gunshot wound are expected. A lifetime of medical bills and mental trauma can catch survivors by surprise. WRAL investigates the costs a local nurse never expected to face. Well, still ahead this noon, top tech for school. Students on traditional calendars return to school in mere weeks. Smart shopping advice to help you save hundreds.
And restaurant reputation. Texas Roadhouse says a conservative group is trying to railroad them. They say the chain is defending its hiring policies. With the new school year fast approaching this month, we are talking about one back-to-school product essential for most students, a dependable laptop. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur shares how you can score a great laptop at any budget.
Whether your student is heading to college or high school, having the right laptop can make the school year. And timing and a little strategy can help you save hundreds.
We tell folks that if they have the money now to buy the laptop now, because there is a very good chance that prices could rise pretty dramatically.
For bigger budgets, the latest 15-inch Apple MacBook Air ranks near the top of CR's laptop ratings for performance and reliability. To score one for less, choose a smaller model. Prefer a PC with Windows? This lightweight LG Gram offers great portability and battery life. Want the latest tech? The HP OmniBook Ultra is a powerful AI PC designed to run AI apps on the laptop itself instead of online. And if you want to get the biggest bang for a small budget, this lightweight Lenovo Chromebook weighs next to nothing and delivers 19 hours of battery life. Here are 5 ways to save on your next tech purchase. Go with an older model. Something a year or two older will be less expensive but still run great. Shop around to find the very best deal. Consider buying something refurbished. Companies like Apple and HP essentially offer certified pre-owned computers. Next, consider downsizing. A smaller laptop is often cheaper. And finally, maybe go with a tablet. Those are often less expensive than a laptop and still run great. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
And back to school, back to scams. Tune into WRAL Wednesday at noon. Cybersecurity expert Kimberly Simon joins us live with cyber safety for families and college students.
More than 3,200 hourly Boeing employees hit the picket lines this morning. It's the second strike in less than a year at 3 defense plants. Members of the International Association of Machinists are pushing for better pay and better work schedules. Workers at the plants build military aircraft, including F-15 fighter jets. Boeing has had 6 years of serious financial losses and setbacks to many areas of its businesses, including the defense and space unit affected by this strike. Texas Roadhouse faces a complaint from a conservative group. America First Legal filed the complaint with Equal Opportunity Commission. Now, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, I should say. It claims the steak chain uses race and gender to help determine who will be appointed to its board. The complaint comes after President Donald Trump signed executive orders targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Texas Roadhouse says it is committed to developing a workforce that mirrors the diversity of its guests.
Phasing out food color. Health experts say that's just the tip of the iceberg. What some researchers say is the bigger problem with the nation's food.
Fitness plateau. Don't throw in the towel. Simple ways you can enhance your workout. And here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen right now. Michelle and I will be right back.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Back to that breaking news involving a newly released audit of the DMV. It highlights problems within the agency and what can be done to fix it. WRAL's Heidi Kirk was there for the entire news conference. And Heidi, it just wrapped up as our newscast was getting started. Auditor Dave Bullock outlined numerous issues and he offered solutions.
Well, Well, it actually wrapped up in this room just within the last 30 minutes or so. And you're right, we sat through the entire thing and went through that more than 400-page audit. Now, we've been reporting for years on some of these issues. For instance, staffing shortages, problems getting reservations, and of course, long wait times. We've all been through it here in the state of North Carolina. And now the state auditor says this audit is the first step in addressing all of those things. Now, the audit found issues in several areas we've been reporting on, including insufficient staffing, outdated technology, which all impact the customer experience and the relationship between the DMV and the DOT. Now, the DOT is under an arm of the Department of Transportation. Bullock suggests making the DMV an autonomous agency. Other ideas: recruiting more employees, opening pop-up license offices, and offering a fast pass style priority service where customers could pay to get a reservation. You mentioned that you saw those people on the news this morning standing in line. To those folks, when they hear about an audit, they may not think that that means real change. What is your message to those people who quite literally are still out there standing in line today?
Well, my message to them is that I am their state auditor and I'm a dog with a bone on this DMV. And that we are going to continue to shine a light on the DMV and put this forward front and center on the front burner until it's fixed.
Now, the NCDOT has already responded that they do not believe that it is the right move to make the DMV an autonomous organization. Now, of course, the DMV has 6 months to respond and come up with a plan of action after these findings. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Every year in North Carolina, over 3,500 people are victims of gun violence. Of those victims, almost half die from their injuries, and the other ones that survive are often left to deal with life-changing impacts. WRAL Investigates sat down with one survivor. Willie Danley joins us now live in studio. Willie, good afternoon to you. The woman you spoke to, what has her life been like since being shot?
Jeff, Monique Wallace tells me her life has been changed forever. Since being shot over 4 months ago in what she calls a random act of violence, Wallace has not been able to work. She can't move her right hand, rarely leaves her home, and has been left with tens of thousands of dollars in medical expenses. And unfortunately, her story is not uncommon.
My mother has to help me do almost everything because I didn't realize how much you need both hands until you lack of one. And like I need help getting dressed, cooking, combing my hair. I mean, I can't go back out and work. I'm losing money. I have bills still coming.
In addition to those physical and financial impacts, Wallace and many other survivors of gun violence suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. She tells me she dreams of a day that her life can go back to normal like before she was shot.
Willie, I know you also spoke to some researchers who specialize in gun violence prevention. Have they found any potential solutions out of this?
Yes, Jeff, they tell me where there are more guns, there is more gun violence. There are 21 states around the country that have passed legislation preventing people who pose a risk to themselves or others from possessing guns. It raises the question, is passing legislation like that possible in North Carolina?
That is a valid question. Willie, thank you for that information. Tonight at 6, WRAL Investigates will dive deeper into the impacts of gun violence and the costs its victims are forced to pay. Willie, thanks.
As COVID-19 cases ramp up in the U.S., many Americans are confused about the Trump administration's latest policies concerning access to vaccines. In recent months, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has said that the COVID-19 shot will no longer be recommended for healthy children and pregnant women. Now, those who want to be vaccinated in the fall are unsure if the vaccine will be available to them and if their insurance will cover the cost. Well, cosmetic changes with no health impact. That's what UNC professor of nutrition Dr. Barry Popkin calls demands to remove artificial colors from food and drinks. Kraft Heinz, Skittles, and General Mills are just a few companies announcing plans to remove artificial colors. Researchers say the government focus on synthetic dyes misses the larger problem of the prevalence of cheap, convenient foods loaded with salt, sugar, and fat. 70% of the U.S. food supply includes chips, cookies, and pre-made meals, and studies link them to obesity, cancer, and other health disorders.
Thousands of women could get help dealing with a uterine disease after a ruling in a North Carolina lawsuit. A federal judge in Raleigh ruled endometriosis can qualify as a disability for legal protections. The condition can cause severe menstrual pain and nausea. Disability rights advocates say the ruling could clear the way for women to receive accommodations at work or school. Our NC Capitol team spoke exclusively with the woman who brought the lawsuit. You can find her story at WRAL.com.
Well, coming up, if you're looking for ways to enhance your workouts, try adding more weight to your chest. How vests are changing the workout game.
And tomorrow will likely be the shortest day you'll ever experience. We'll tell you why and what that could be contributing to this change of time. Our team is working to bring you exclusive stories. For coverage you'll find only on WRAL, visit WRAL.com and search only.
Just coming up on 12:39 on your Monday afternoon, taking a live look at Carolina Beach. Cloudy, but still a lot of people there right now. You're watching WRAL News, available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. Well, weighted blankets help some people sleep better. Weighted vests are helping others enhance their workouts.
Sue Guzman takes a closer look at how it all works and how you can save money by making your own weighted vest at home.
As we dive deeper into summer, folks looking for a hack to help maintain their beach bods may want to listen up. With Dr. Chris Kolba, physical therapist at The Ohio State University, sharing how weighted vests can help enhance workouts.
This is just a weighted vest here. This one is already preset in its weight.
This is because you're adding more weight onto your body while you move.
So if you're doing lunges, holding 5-pound, dumbbells, you add the weighted vest, well, you have to add that weight to the amount of work that the muscles are doing.
These vests can still add a new layer of physical challenge, even if you're more into walking or running.
With walking, again, or even with running, to get the desired effect or more of an effect, you have to walk longer, walk faster, run, farther. Adding a weighted vest can stay at the same pace. It can be very beneficial in terms of just increasing heart rate, blood pressure, metabolic response.
You can make a DIY weighted vest out of a backpack and a large rock or a weight plate.
Anything with a little weight in it, put it into the pack, zip it up, and then I'll just strap the pack on. My hack is I will wear this thing when I mow my lawn. So I put about just 10 pounds in, maybe sometimes 15.
Meanwhile, wearing a weighted vest can also help improve posture.
It does tend to force you to have to stay a little bit more upright.
All right.
Sue Guzman reporting. I don't know, it hurts my back just thinking about it. I don't know. Guzman reporting there. People with pre-existing back pain are recommended to get their symptoms checked before you use the weighted vest.
So just check it before you use it.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, you've heard of leap year, but a negative leap second. Up next, why tomorrow will be one of the shortest days in recorded history.
Airport expansion. New amenities are available at RDU International. Why additional parking is just the beginning.
500 new parking spaces are open at RDU. This is a live look at Terminal 2 this afternoon. The new spaces are part of the airport's Park Economy 3 expansion, a $164 million project. The expanded lot features restrooms, vending machines, and EV chargers. New covered walkways will hold solar panels to power them. This is part of RDU's Building Blitz, which includes a new runway and an expanded Terminal 2.
Expect more traffic problems when the State Fair comes to Raleigh in about 2 months. The Blue Ridge Road underpass project that was set to be finished before the fair is delayed again. That's according to the Department of Transportation. And now families say getting to the fair may be more trouble than it's worth.
That's a little disappointing. I would love to come to the State Fair with my kids and be able to enjoy it, but it doesn't make it super accessible for everybody and makes it a little more harder to get down here. Last year we parked at the Lenovo Center, got out of the car, walked a quarter of a mile, and we said, there's no way we're making it today.
Business owners in the area say the traffic is impacting their customers. Jeff Hastings of Burke Brothers Hardware says normal State Fair traffic cuts his sales by about 20%. With the construction in that area, he says it's been more like 35%.
Well, scientists say tomorrow could be one of the shortest days in your lifetime. The Earth is spinning faster, which means some days have been shorter by just milliseconds. Kevin Uretsky explains what could be contributing to the change in time.
With only 24 hours in a day, each second counts. And August 5th is expected to be one of the shortest days of the year.
It doesn't mean it's going to be an hour shorter. It means it's going to be a millisecond shorter. But that's really unusual.
On average, it takes the Earth about 86,400 seconds to complete one full rotation on its axis. But scientists are predicting August 5th to be 1.51 milliseconds shorter than the average day.
The days this summer, a few of them, have been measurably shorter than we expected.
And while astronomy experts, including Christopher Palma, are still trying to figure out what is causing the Earth to spin differently, they do have a few ideas.
As the glaciers melt, mass on the Earth is redistributing. The liquid inside of the Earth is spinning in a slightly different way. And so there could be changes going on in the spinning interior of the Earth that is causing the exterior of the Earth to slow down.
Even though a few milliseconds don't seem like a big deal, in the long run, the variation in time could affect more than just the length of your day. Scientists say almost every system, including computers, satellites, and telecommunications, requires a precise understanding of time.
And so the GPS system needs to know the timing of those signals really accurately. There's a little bit of error in one of those signals. You get a little bit of error in how far should you go before you turn, or how far did you walk that day?
That was Kevin Uretsky reporting there. Very interesting.
I know, right?
Yeah.
The world keeps moving, keeps spinning. Days like this. Let's go out to the patio. Elizabeth Gardner is out there today. And Elizabeth, days like yesterday, like today, you want them to just last forever and not be shorter.
Exactly. We need to slow this down a little bit. But, I mean, we too know what's coming. I mean, it will get hot again. We take a look at like the 8 to 16 day sort of outlook, and it looks hotter than normal. But, you know, I mean, it won't be long. We get into September, and we really, once we get past the middle of September, see very few 90-degree days. So, you know, it's coming, it's coming. Of course, we also are looking at the tropical season starting to ramp up. The peak of the season is the end of August through about the middle of September. And we're watching about a 30% chance of some development off the coast of the southeast. Would likely happen late this week or over the weekend. And then another system, a 50% chance that one coming off the coast of Africa develops. But right now it looks like that one would probably turn northward and not affect the United States. So, tracking the tropics, a lot of activity showing up, but it's that little batch that's actually near Bermuda that is Tropical Storm Dexter. It formed in the 11 p.m. advisory last night. It is headed away from the United States. It is a tropical storm moving at about 14 miles per hour away from us. Now, we do have the potential for some high rip current danger along the coast for the next couple of days, and then this thing just zips right on out of here. But we still have tropical moisture on the way, just not associated with Dexter. Here's what's going to happen. A low pressure system that's to our north and west is going to drop southward into the deep south. Low pressure systems rotate counterclockwise, and so that low is going to start to drag up some tropical moisture. And then we'll have the potential for that other system to develop. You see that 30% that's sitting out there by that high pressure system? If that gets forced toward the coast, it's just additional tropical moisture that will get sort of dragged into the flow that's coming in to North Carolina. So we've got that potential. We have a small chance for rain tomorrow, and then it's a 40% chance Wednesday, 60 Thursday and Friday, 40 Saturday and Sunday. So we're back to an everyday chance for showers and storms. Wednesday and Thursday, we'll have a better chance of some downpours, and so that means we do have a low risk for flooding Wednesday and Thursday. It's possible that Friday, Saturday, or Sunday could get added to that, but that's as far out as it goes for now. Now, our temperatures are going to stay pretty pleasant. We're still looking at highs in the 80s. A gorgeous day today. Get outside and enjoy it. Our humidity remains low. Tomorrow will be gray, but high of only 80 degrees. Could be a few sprinkles. But then Wednesday through Sunday, we're going to be dealing with afternoon and evening thunderstorms. So if you had plans to be outside, you may have to contend with some showers and storms with the potential for some heavy downpours. So that makes today the best day of the next 7 to get outside. But again, we don't have any major heat waves in our forecast through the weekend.
All right, Elizabeth, sold. We'll do it. Thanks. Super tribute to the Man of Steel, where the latest statue of the kid from Krypton hovers. We wrap things up with a look at a few of the headlines that we are following for you today. And we can tell you a newly released audit of the DMV highlights problems within the agency and what can be done to fix it. It found issues in several areas that we have been reporting on, including insufficient staffing, outdated technology, and the relationship between the DMV and the DOT. The audit recommends making the DMV an autonomous agency, planning a staffing analysis to address shortages, opening pop-up license offices, and IT infrastructure updates. The NCDOT responded saying they disagree with the decision to make this an autonomous agency. You can look for more on our evening news starting at 4.
And a family's trip to Harris Lake turned devastating over the weekend. A 10-year-old has died and a woman has serious injuries after a boat drove over them in the water. Today, the man facing charges for this will make a first court appearance. 40-year-old Quinton Knight is charged with operating a boat under the influence. More charges could be coming. We will be in the courtroom. According to the arrest warrants, the victim who died was 10-year-old Brooklyn Carroll. Investigators say Jennifer Staley lost her leg in the crash. This is her. We will bring you updates as we learn more.
A large truck crashed and flipped in Cumberland County this morning, shutting down a highway. Investigators say the driver lost control on I-95 South when a tire blew out on the box truck it was towing. It overturned and ended up on NC-24. Debris scattered all over the road there. Troopers say the driver was taken to the hospital. No word yet if charges will be filed.
A special honor for Cleveland's most famous fictional character.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane!
See you later. It's Superman. Clevelanders gathered at the Superman Tribute Plaza this weekend to celebrate the $2.2 million monument. The crowd also celebrated creators Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, along with Siegel's wife, who was the real-life inspiration for Lois Lane. That's very cool.
There's some statue.
$2 million.
Yeah, right? Our pet of the day comes to us from Chatham Animal Rescue. Ren is a handsome 1-year-old boy. He arrived at the shelter at just 6 weeks old with a permanent paw injury. Since the other cats he bonded with have been adopted, Ren has turned his attention to his human family, often seeking attention and affection. Ren will do best in a quieter and calm household. If you would like more information about Ren, just visit chathamanimalrescue.org.
And all month long, we are helping area animals find their forever homes during our Clear the Shelters adoption event. To celebrate, Orange County Animal Services is holding a Crazy 8s adoption event from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on August 8th. Adoption fees will be $8. Give a furry friend a fresh start. To learn more about this and other local events, go to WRAL.com/shelters.
Back to school shopping, and as you shop, beware of fake online retailers offering discount fashion. Coming up at 4, a warning from one man for all shoppers about phantom shipments.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update is in 30 minutes.
Get breaking news updates anytime with the WRAL News app. Have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.